Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Arjuna Uvacha Yevam Satata Yukta Ye Bhaktasvam Patyupatate Ye Chapyaksharam Avyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vittamaha Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Veshamano Yema Nityayukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayopetaha Te me Yuktatama Mataha Ye Tvaksharamanirdeshyam Avyaktam Paryupasate Sarvatra Gamachintyam Cha Kutastamachalam Dhruvam Sanniham Yendriyagrama Sarvatra Samabuddhayaha Te prapnuvanti mameva Sarvabhutahite rataha Kleshodhikatarastesham Avyaktasakta chetasam Avyaktahi gatir dukkham Dehabadbhiravapyate Yetu sarvani karmani Mayi sanyasya matparaha Ananyena yogena Mandhyayanta upasate Teshamaham samudharta Mrityu samsara sagarat Bhavami nachirat partha Maya veshita chetasam Mayyeva mana adhatsva Mayi buddhim niveshaya Nivasishyasi mayyeva Atha vurdhvam na samshayaha Atha chittam samadhatum Na shaknoshi mayi stiram Abhyasa yogena tataha Mamichhaptum dhananjaya Abhyasepya samarthosi Matkarma paramo bhava Madarthamapi karmani Kurvan siddhimavapsyasi.
Please explain the term Ananya Chinta. How is it at a higher rung in the spiritual ladder than Nishkama Bhakti? The term Ananya Chinta. What is the nature of thoughts? First, what is the nature of the mind? Mind is made up of thoughts. What is the nature of the thoughts? What is the nature of the mind? The very nature of the mind is movement. Supposing if anybody in this classroom tells me that, sir, in the last 5 minutes, The chanting and in the 5 minutes from 7:45 to 7:50, my thoughts didn't go anywhere. I was entirely focused. I'll get a heart attack. What is the nature of the mind? The nature of the mind is thoughts. And what is the thought? The flow of thought. So whenever we say the nature of the mind is the flow of thought. Flow meaning astira and chanchala. This is the nature of the mind. It's not a directed natural flow. The flow which is astira and chanchala type. Astira and chanchala mean constantly moving from place to place, constantly moving within a place is the nature of the mind. To have a general concentration itself is very difficult. To have a very general concentration itself is very difficult. Or what keeps the concentration going? You cannot consciously concentrate, forget it. I don't know how to even say that. Somewhere we are all surviving somehow, that's all. How does concentration happen? For concentration to happen, the thought should be made to flow in a direction. The thoughts can flow in a direction in two possibilities. One is out of discipline and another is out of an obsession. When you are obsessed, the thoughts will flow naturally towards the same object, the same person. Why do we call it as obsession? Because you take the mind from that object or person and plant it elsewhere, it will keep going back to that. This is obsession. Distinct and different from that is wherever you choose to place the mind, the thoughts keep focusing there and it will not go anywhere else. Is this natural? The second thing. Is it natural to do? Would it come naturally? Right. Does the first one come naturally? Yes, the first one comes naturally. Okay. Now, all that comes natural to you is detrimental to you. Take it or leave it. All that comes natural to you is detrimental to you. All that is evolutionary requires a tremendous discipline. Now, it means what? We need to consciously make the mind flow in a direction. In order to make the mind flow in a direction, that is called chinta, thinking. Indiscriminative thinking versus discriminative thought flow. Indiscriminate thought flow versus discriminate thought flow. And then there are gradations in the discriminate thought flow. What is the gradations? First, you can broadly concentrate in a field of activity, and then you can specifically concentrate in an action, and then you can single-pointedly go from moment to moment, second to second. Ananya Chinta belongs to what? Consciously, specifically going from moment to moment, second to second. This is called Ananya Chinta. Why it is called Ananya Chinta? Because there is no other vasana, there is no other desire that can distract the mind. So a person who has done a person who is able to practice Ananya Chinta implies what now? A person who is able to practice Ananya Chinta, what is implied? He has done lot of Nishkama Karma, Karma Yoga lifestyle, etc. and gotten rid of the ignorance, the vasanas, the unfulfillment to a tremendous extent that the mind itself doesn't flow anywhere. Are you able to understand the difference now? The mind itself doesn't go anywhere. Because there is no other interest. Of the 100 interest, Vedanta is one, God is one. Are you able to follow? Amit. You have hundreds of interests. Of the many hundreds of interests that you have, God is one. The interest is dependent upon your interest is dependent upon what? We studied that yesterday. Your interest is dependent upon that which hopes to give you happiness. Wherever you get a hope that it is going to give you peace, happiness, security, you will be constantly thinking about it. Ananya Chinta means you have developed the clarity that your peace, security, happiness lies only in God and nothing else. There is no mixture there. There is no Madras mixture story here. There's only one thing. What? Ananya Chinta. Now this Ananya Chinta is not a cause. This Ananya Chinta is an effect. You can't practice Ananya Chinta. You practice the yogas, etc. And then you will develop to the stage of Ananya Chinta. Now, what is Arjuna asking? The question itself is wrong. I'm connecting to Arjuna's question. Arjuna is asking, those who have Ananya Chinta is superior, or those who are thinking about you occasionally is superior. There are people who think about you occasionally. There are people who think about you daily. There are people who think about you constantly. Correct? Who is superior? You feel like giving the answer what? You feel like giving the answer what? One who's thinking about you constantly 24/7. You say, no. The question itself is wrong. We'll come back to that later. But then Ananya Chinta. Are you able to follow what does Ananya Chinta means? No other interest other than God. Why no other interest other than God? Because your entire peace, security, happiness has come into one basket, not even one basket. One? Yeah, not even one basket now. Don't put all eggs in one basket. You have put everything in one. Eggs, plural. Singular, another. Egg. Egg. God alone. That is Ananya. That is Ananya Chinta. How do you get to that state? By certain disciplines and practices, you get to that state. Ananya Chinta and meditation is almost one and the same. Understand this. Ananya Chinta and meditation is one and the same. Therefore, Ananya Chinta is superior to Nishkama Karma. Did we say that? No, we didn't say superior. I said there are two stages. It levels. It's two levels. Because it is set as two levels, the result-oriented mind see the higher one as superior. It is because of the result-oriented mind that is seeing it like that. You follow the difference? It is, look, it is as absurd as this. Sometimes, not sometimes, always the mind gets greedy, correct? The mind gets greedy. Just to make my learning process faster, sir, morning I'll go to school, evening I'll go to university. So that I can come out, learn it fast. This is mumukshatva, sir. This is called mumukshatva. This is called, what is this called? It's called just plain greed, that's all. It's just plain greed. Sir, I got so much of interest in mathematics now that I will attend all the 3 levels of classes. Because I have gotten tremendous interest in mathematics now, I will attend all the 3 grades of classes. What are the 3 grades of classes? One is you learn 2 in the mind, 2 in the fingers. Yeah, that is one level of math. Another level of math is equations. Yeah. Another level of math is multiplication. Another level of math is calculus. Because I have developed interest in mathematics, I will do all 3. Because of this, I will do all 3 simultaneously, sir. Because I got interest. Because I have passion for maths. Because I have interest in math. Because I am so this thing in math. End of it is you'll just go. End of it is what? The levels of foolishness only goes on increasing. Are you able to follow the difference? So Ananya Chinta, we didn't say superior. Ananya Chinta is a higher stage of growth. There is a higher stage of growth. That's all it means. You follow? Next one. Does Nishkama Bhakti or Sakama Bhakti produce Chitta Shuddhi? Does Karma Yoga produce Chitta Shuddhi? Answer. What produces Chitta Shuddhi is a combination of factors. The right action with the right attitude combined with Shravana and Manana. Remember, for Chitta Shuddhi to happen, a few things has to be combined. The right action, what we call as Karma Yoga. The right attitude, what we call as Bhakti Yoga. Plus Shravana and Manana. One by itself cannot give you Chitta Shuddhi. Shravana and Manana by itself cannot give you Chitta Shuddhi. Kevala Bhakti alone cannot give you Chitta Shuddhi. Kevala Karma alone cannot give you Chitta Shuddhi. Kevala Karma means what? Tamil Kevalam கிடையாது. இல்லையா? கேவலம்னா தமிழ்ல சொல்ற கேவலம் கிடையாது. இது சன்ஸ்கிருத் கேவல. Sanskrit Kevala means, Sanskritla Kevala means that by itself cannot do anything. So there are people who says, I will be a Kevala Bhakti. There are people who say, I will do Kevala Karma. And there are people who say, just Shravana. Now, Chitta Shuddhi to happen, there has to be a combination of what? The right action, the right attitude, combined with Shravana and Manana. Combination of these 3 alone result in Chitta Shuddhi. One by itself cannot give. Kevala Karma Yoga is social work. Only Shravana Manana is a very good, just an intellectual entertainment. Only Karma Yoga is social work. Only Shravana Manana is just an intellectual entertainment. Only Bhakti is an emotional. Only Bhakti is what? Just an emotional satisfaction that I am also doing something good. I chanted today, it's good. I went to temple today, it's good. By itself cannot cannot produce Chitta Shuddhi. For Chitta Shuddhi to happen, there has to be Karma Yoga. Whenever we talk about Karma Yoga, I have said this any number of times. In Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga is included because action and attitude goes together, even though for understanding purposes, we segregate the two and talk. It's like saying right hand and left hand. Even though for understanding purposes, we talk about them as two separate, only when both work together, there is growth. So action and attitude is like that. Right eye and the left eye. Are you able to follow? When you go for eye test, they will do, no? They'll close this eye, something you can see. When you close this eye, you can't really see anything. Then they'll say, this one is lacking, do something. Now, when both have to, for an effective growth, it has to be a combination. Are you able to follow? Jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. The sequence is also established very clearly. Do you belong to the category of the yogi or do you belong to the category of the sannyasi? If you belong to the category of a yogi sannyasi, karma and Shravana Manana. If you belong to the category of a sannyasi, when you belong to the category of sannyasi, Nididhyasana, Dhyana, Moksha. The path is very clear. The path is laid out very clearly. Lokesmin dvida nishta pura prokta mayanaga jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. I taught you already, he said. Haven't you known this already? It's very clear. So, Chitta Shuddhi is the prerequisite for a sannyasi. For Chitta Shuddhi to happen, combination of action, which is Karma Yoga, which includes Bhakti also, and Shravana and Manana. So remember, combination of these three. Are you okay till now? Okay. What is Karma Yoga? Two things goes into Karma Yoga. One is the Panchamaha Yajna, another is the Swabhava Swadharma Karma. A combination of Swabhava Swadharma Karma and Panchamaha Yajna is called Karma. What is Upasana? What is Bhakti? Dedicating it to God. This is called Karma and Bhakti combined. Again, I repeat, what is Karma Yoga? Panchamaha Yajna plus Swabhava Karma, guided by Dharma. So instead of complicating it, we will say Panchamaha Yajna plus Swadharma Karma. Karma Yoga ka formula. Yeah. Well, what is the formula for Karma Yoga? So Dharma Karma plus Panchamaha Yajna. What is Bhakti Yoga now? You are dedicating it, offering it to God. The Karma Yoga, the Panchamaha Yajna and your Swadharma Karma is offered, dedicated to God. This, when it is offered, dedicated to God, it's called Upasana Bhakti. So Karma and Bhakti has got one combination now. And then we said Shravana Manana. What is Shravana Manana? Shravana Manana is constantly listening to the reading, listening to the scriptures, reading the scriptures, and clarifying the doubts. So Shravana Manana and this combination leads to Chitta Shuddhi. This is the very formula way of understanding the cause for Chitta Shuddhi. You follow? Next one. In the last class, I heard Yudhishthira was a big dani. Okay. I read Karna was also very generous, and when the two were compared towards the end of the war, Yudhishthira donated gold from his palace gates and Karna donated gold from his teeth. Karna was on the side of the Kauravas. Yet I heard he was probably the only character in Mahabharata who realized moksha. Okay. Did Karna attain moksha just by being a dani? Or did he climb up the spiritual ladder from adharma to dharma to karma yoga to sannyasa and then finally achieve moksha? Very good. How did Karna achieve moksha and what can we learn from him? How did Karna achieve moksha? Although he fought on the side of Duryodhana, that is adharma. Okay. Amit. You should not watch a lot of movies and television series and understand scriptures through them. You watch movies and television serials to understand Ramayana and Mahabharata. This is what will happen. Nobody attained to moksha in Mahabharata. Only in movie everybody attains. According to the character that you like, attains moksha. Nobody attained to moksha. But each and every character highlights one aspect of dharma. Understand that. It's a very beautiful thing. See, do you have a tooth implant? Done? Okay. Has anybody here done a tooth implant? Has anybody done a tooth implant here? Nobody has done, huh? Narayana. Very good. Imagine you having done a tooth implant and you have to just pull it out and give. Do you know what it pains? Obviously, that is much superior in in order to give. He doesn't mind going through that extreme pain. That is one aspect of dana which is highlighted. Just because you have only one aspect of it, nobody attains moksha. But then what these characters talk about generally is this. Each and every character will highlight one aspect of dharma, and to get a clarity on moksha, you must understand, you should be able to practice all this together. Then you'll understand how complicated what you are asking, moksha. Then you understand how difficult it is, what you are asking. Now you just, not you, everybody, they just come and think, blink it like you can get moksha, isn't it? Yeah. It is like blink it order. So there, you don't have Blinkit in Dubai, I know. Yeah, here we have Blinkit. Yeah. Blinkit means one blink, it will come to you. Huh? That's what it means. Blink it will come. And it really comes, huh? Oh my God, I don't know. I always think maybe containers after containers of malls are roaming around in the streets everywhere. How can they just come and give like that? Can you you follow? So each and every character explains one aspect of dharma. To understand dharma, put everything together. When you put everything together, you will understand. What will you understand if you put all aspects of dharma? To attain moksha, you have to be a Karna, you have to be a Yudhishthira, you have to be a Bhishma, you have to be a Drona, because everybody has one shades of dharma. In order to attain moksha, you should be able to put everything together. You know, it means how at such a deepest to core, your personality is so integrated. I tell you, something which is extraordinary, that is. No doubt it requires a lot of effort. And that effort is so joyful. That effort is so wonderful. Because because it's all done for that. The moment you want to, because of the pain, you are dropping an effort. Understand, you have become result-oriented, tamasic in nature. Because of pain, you want to run away from action. Remember, you have become tamasic in, you have become tamasic in nature. Because when you are performing actions for the sake of dharma, the buddhi will tell you, pain will be there, continue the action. Pain will be there, continue the action. Fear of pain is fear of death. A person seeking moksha is who? Who's the one who's seeking moksha? Okay. Do you understand at least this much? Fear of pain means fear of death. At least do you understand this? A person who's seeking moksha is the one who has Yama will come and prostrate to that person. We all get scared and run away from Yama, and Yama comes and prostrate to Yama will come and prostrate to this person. All achievements happened because of actions happened in spite of pain. Correct? Achievements happen, growth happens when? Painless action. Is there a thing called painless action? There is a state called painless action. Another hallucination. You can sit and hallucinate the whole day. Yeah. No pain in that. Ultimately, it's going to end up in greater pain. That is the problem. So, is there a thing called painless growth? No. Therefore, one who fears pain is the one who is not interested in growth. It's obvious it is. Anybody who's oh, I want to grow, sir. No. I want to. I'm ready to do anything to grow. Okay, jog for 30 minutes and come back. No, sir. No. That is knee is paining, stomach is paining, head is paining. Okay, then do something. Oh, no. That is bad. So 30 minutes later, you will come and tell me what? Nothing is possible. But I want to. But you don't understand how much I'm interested in growth, sir. Is it possible like that? It is not possible like that. You follow what I'm saying? It is not at all possible. To put all these characters together and understand dharma, and to assume a person going to have all this wonderful stated. You follow what I'm saying now, Amit? So each and every character do not attain moksha because of a trait. A trait may motivate you, inspire you. When we go into the later portion of the same chapter, he's going to give 35 qualities. For 35 qualities, you can corroborate and find out 35 Puranic characters. Sir, adu neengle panni kuduthurunga, don't tell me. Yeah, I'm not going to do. Each and every quality you can corroborate it with the Puranic character. You go to the 20 qualities of a Jnani, you can find a character. You can get inspired by one, you can get motivated by one, and develop as a complete personality. You follow? Therefore, whether Karna attained moksha or not, Yudhishthira attained moksha or not, I really don't know, because the story doesn't talk about anybody attaining moksha, because all of them were in Swarga. All of them were in Swarga. Yudhishthira asked, how come these people are in Swarga? He asked. He saw Duryodhana and Karna in Swarga. So he asked, how can these people be in Swarga? Jealous anga kuda povadu. Your jealous and anger will not go even after going to Swarga. He's still angry. How can these people are here? And then he's asking, where is Bhishma, where is Bhima and Arjuna? Oh, they are in Naraka, Yama says. He said, this is such a fraud setup, he says. He said, it's a setup of fraud it is. Fraud ஏதாவது அதோட மோசமான term இருக்கா? It's a fraud. No, it is. Talk something here. You go and see there, these fellows are in Naraka and these fellows are in Swarga. What a fake it is. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. Change it. Adharmo rakshati rakshitaha. You have to change it like that. Yudhishthira was almost convinced there. And then Yama said, no, I just showed you a picture, Yudhishthira. I just showed you a picture to see how you are reacting. In the way that you react, we knew exactly where you should. I just showed you a picture. That's all. Whether they are in Swarga or Naraka, what difference does it make? What difference does it make to you? Are you able to follow? So moksha, very difficult to erase, but not only for you, for everybody. See, almost 1 year I spent on Vishwarupa. People asked me, what did you say for 1 year in Vishwarupa? 3 classes lo mudikka vendiya chapter. In 3 sessions, you should have finished the chapter. What did you say for 1 year? In 1 year, I was trying to erase the memory from so many people that Vishwarupa means not that huge ballooned form. After 1 year also, people I know, they still believe Vishwarupa means huge ballooned form. Correct? Very difficult for the conditionings to change. But nevertheless, Shravana Manana, bit by bit, it will change. Are you able to follow? Amit. Shravana Manana, bit by bit, it will change. Therefore, understand moksha through the Upanishad. Don't understand moksha through Ramananda Sagar. He wrote Ramayana. Who wrote Mahabharata? I ask people, who wrote Ramayana? Ramananda Sagar. Who wrote Ramayana? Amit. Who wrote Ramayana? You know who wrote Ramayana? Valmiki, yeah. Valmiki wrote Ramayana. Do you all agree? Sir, Karna Shivaji Ganesan, sir. Yeah, Karna na Shivaji Ganesan. Because that fellow acted like that thing. You look at that and you feel, oh my God, he looks much superior to Krishna himself. How is it possible? Dramatic it is. One aspect of dharma. Always, I'm giving you the thumb rule again. I'm repeating it again for you to understand. Wherever you read these Puranic stories, they're all very meaningful. They're all very important to know. They're all very important to read and understand, very meaningful, because each and every character explains about one shade of dharma. For you to understand a spiritual person, a religious person or a spiritual person, you should understand all these shades put together is a dharmic, spiritual, religious person. Are you able to follow now? But then when you highlight one. In the 11th chapter, we discussed that way of teaching. I elaborated this way of teaching, isn't it? When you are talking about one, you highlight it as though it is the greatest, the best. No, it is only a temporary way of making you understand the importance of that particular dharma. What is that dharma? You quoted it very rightly. Yeah. Giving away all the gold in the palace versus pull out the gold implant and give. Gold capping the implant. Remember the difference. It's not capping. It is an implant. If you know what implant is. That's why I asked, is there anybody who went through an implant here? And everybody's dental health is very good here. Narayana, please have it like that only. Don't go for implants and all. Imagine you just have to pull it out like that. You will die of that pain. And yet he gave. Why? Because it has to be given. It has to be given. Is dhanam alone enough for moksha? Is dhanam alone enough for moksha? Any single quality alone can give you moksha if rightly understood. If you have rightly understood what dhanam is, and dhanam alone can give you moksha. Remember the answer. Anything can give moksha by itself if properly understood. What is the proper understanding of dhanam? What is the proper understanding of dhanam? After each and every giving, some part of yours must diminish, must burn up. Then only it is dhanam. You, after giving, you must feel burnt. You will get burnt. Ahuti and kindling, yajna. When it is offered, it gets burnt. Are you able to follow? So what is dhanam? You give and give and give and give and give and become bankrupt. And then what do you do? Vachikam karma. Start giving through good words, good words, good words. After a while, that also will gone. That also will stop because body will deteriorate. Manasam karma. Give, spread positive thoughts, positive thoughts. Oh, but then I can develop dementia and go into coma, and then only I will die. In that period of 5-6 years, give power of attorney to somebody and ask them to do it on your behalf and pay them also. If you do dhanam like this, you will attain moksha. Amit. Practically, it's not possible. It has to be a combination of everything. It's very, with one quality, you can make one movie by itself can take you. But on a practical plane, it has to be a combination. You follow? அவ்வளவுதானே? Our guna proportion determines our swabhava. That determines our swadharma and varna. So, for example, if someone's guna proportion is sattva, rajas, tamas, then they belong to the Brahmin varna. Okay. If someone has TRS, then they belong to the Shudra varna. Okay. So it's a context. Okay. Second one. Spiritual evolution takes place when we change our attitude while doing the same activity and not by changing the activity. Correct. These are the two contexts. Good. Question. The goal to gain spiritual evolution is to change our guna proportion while doing the same activity. However, the guna proportion determines our swadharma and varna. Use the word swabhava. Don't, if you use words mix up, like if you get words mixed up, this will be the problem. So how by changing our guna proportion, don't we change our varna? For example, if a Shudra changes their guna SRT, then how do they have to continue to do the Shudra activity when their guna proportion has changed to that of a Brahmin? Please reconcile. Very good question. Swabhava determines first thing. There is a field of activity, correct? First thing, there is a field of activity. Everybody has a field of activity. That field of activity is determined by what? Predominantly your guna proportion. I won't say predominantly, completely, fully. Hmm? Your guna proportion is TRS. What is TRS means? What is TRS means? You have a field of activity and you have a very tamasic approach towards that field of activity. In that field of activity, you will be very tamasically performing actions. Now, what should you do now? What should you do? From the tamasic way of performing actions in the field of activity, what should you do now? Change the field of activity or perform actions in a rajasic way. Where? Where? In the same field of activity. Supposing if you are performing in a rajasic way in that field of activity, you should become sattvic. Where? Where? In the same field of activity. Why will it change? Why will the field of activity change? The field of activity will not change. Where, for example, take the case of Arjuna. What is his field of activity? Kshatriya, being a warrior, correct? What did he want to do? He wanted to change the field of activity and activity and become someone else. What is the advice given by Krishna? What is advice given by Krishna? Don't change the field of activity, change the way in which you perform actions in that field of activity. The guna proportion will not change the field of activity at all. How do we say that? How do we say that? Any number of times we have discussed this. And doesn't matter. We'll keep discussing it any number of times in future also. Because how many ever times you hear, you will go back to the same point. Your field of activity is decided by the guna proportion, as in a natural inclination towards the field of activity. Okay. To understand this, what makes you to choose a field of activity? There are three possibilities. The first reason that makes you to choose a field of activity is what? The grossest way, the wrong way that makes you to choose a field of activity is what? எது படிச்சா ஈஸியா வேலை கிடைக்கும், நிறைய சம்பளம் கிடைக்கும். Which I study, I can get a good job and make lot of money. Is one way of choosing your field of activity. Correct? What is another way of choosing activity? Convenient. Another way of choosing a field of activity is comfortable. It is convenient. That is another reason for choosing a field of activity. What is a field of activity? Yeah. Father doctor, mother doctor, there is a hospital running already. Easy to become a convenient. Continue to be the doctor. So the first reason for choosing a field of activity is the money. The second reason for choosing the field of activity is convenience. Distinct and different from that is choosing a field of activity based on the swabhava. And the swabhava, you cannot find out by yourself. Somebody has to tell you this is your swabhava. At 60, the person asked me how to find my swabhava. I say, forget it. In this janma, it's over. Why do you even try this attempt now? Because anything that is told, you are not going to listen anyway. What is the problem? If this is your swabhava, no sir, but no sir, but where is the problem? No, but in that lecture, what I heard is, in that video, what I saw is, in that TED talk, in that Times of India article, newspaper article, are able to follow. So you can choose your field of activity based on 3 distinct options you have. The first one is purely monitoring. Second one is convenience. The third one is this. Every child will distinctly show one swabhava. By observing that, you determine the field of activity and say, this is your swabhava, and you are, this lifetime, you have to perform actions in this field of activity. And then, in that field of activity, from tamas, you move to rajas. From rajas, you move to sattva. Are you able to follow? This is how it works. There's no difficulty. Okay. What are the distinct characters? 4 distinct characters, which is what the 4 varna is all about. The one is a natural inclination to study, teach. You follow? At what age, Amit? At 50, sir. At what age? A natural inclination to study, to teach. Huh? At a young age, 8, 9, you can see it very clearly. Another child distinctly shows another interest. What is the interest? To be wanting to make a group together and wanting to help that group together. Other politician, Kshatriya, straight away you can understand. Yeah. Fighting for my friends. This fellow will make a very good politician and make that person go into that field of activity. Third distinct. What is the third distinct nature? Third distinct nature is trade, commerce. Everything is seen through money. At that age itself, they see through money. Seeing through money, na kudukave varadu. Even the closest friend asks for a pencil also, you will not give. You observe that, then you say, this fellow will do business. எதுவுமே பண்ணாம, unless told what to do, that fellow will not do anything. Fourth care. Are you able to follow the 4 basic characteristics? And then there is spectrum. In everything there is spectrum. But all these 4 basic characteristics will be very clearly demonstrated. Observe that and box them in that. Ipolo, you must get out of the box, no? You must get out of the box. Here we say box them, lock them up in that box first. And don't allow them to see anything else outside of that. பார்த்துனே இருந்தா மெஞ்சினே இருக்கும் இல்லையா? இப்போ எல்லாம் பாக்ஸ் விட்டு வெளில வந்தாச்சு. பாக்ஸ் விட்டு வெளில வந்தனால என்னாச்சு? Nobody knows what they are. Nobody knows who they are. Because everybody does one thing, no? Yeah. Are you okay till now? Hmm? This distinct nature is because of the guna proportion with which they have come. Carefully follow now. Because the person has the studying, teaching tendency, naturally that person will not be sattvic. That person also will have lot of tamo guna and rajo guna. So it is helpful to, it is easy to get rid of the tamo rajo guna in that field of activity. That's how it is reconciled. Please understand. Doesn't mean naturally that fellow will be is not Ashtavakra born. But the tendency is there because of that guna proportion. Are you able to follow? So you will be born with the guna proportion, and the guna proportion will attract you to a field of activity. Doesn't mean you will be sattvic in that. You will still have lot of rajo tamo guna shades in that. And the Shastri guidance is required to get rid of the tamo rajo guna aspect in that field of activity and become sattvic. I'm not going to go into the details. I'll just give a simple example in the teacher category itself. The grossest category of teacher is what? Looking at the time every 5 minutes. Looking at the time every 5. Oh my God, 40 minutes classroom. Wow. Why can't we make the classes 30 minutes? Why can't we make the classes 20? He's teaching. Are you able to follow? What attitude it is? One kind of attitude. Another person. More you give money, more motivated to perform actions. More the fees, more the motivation. Less the fees, less the motivation. No fees. Next week we will teach. Yeah. This person belongs to a category. Remember, he's not investing in share market. What is he doing still? He's not gone into the share market. He's not gone into business. What is he doing? Are you able to follow? Everybody? I can't see anybody, so it doesn't matter. I'm just assuming and talking. So, even though that field of activity is there, the tamo rajoguna aspect will be there a lot. Therefore, to that person, we will say, what? 40 minutes? No. 40 minutes session means teach 40 minutes. How much ever you are painful, frustrated, teach. So, and then Rajoguna will come up. What is Rajoguna? 40 minutes of pain I went through. What will I get in return? For that 40 minutes of pain, what will I get in return? Are you able to understand which category it belongs to? See, these are all 4 different tendencies human beings. We are not discussing anybody as inferior or superior. That's why I'm taking up in the so-called most supremost case and debate and explaining how all the 4 happens here only. Imagine a classroom where imagine the situation. Imagine a situation where the teacher decides the quality of teaching according to the fees paid. Useless teacher. Imagine a doctor determining the quality of treatment according to the fees paid. Useless doctor. Imagine a lawyer determining the quality of the action based on the fees paid. Therefore, sir, I want everything for free. That's why everybody must do their teacher must teach for free, doctor must give for free, everybody must give for free. And there will be a great movement around this. What is this called? What is this called? Tamasic in nature. Yeah. Tamasic in nature. You are not become sattvic. You have become tamasic in nature. Are you able to understand the guna proportion, how it works? Now, when all these people get together and ask, what is the question? Teaching is a noble profession, sir. Why? They should not take fees. Okay. Doctor is a noble profession. Why? Because they should not take. PET scan should be done for 10 rupees, sir. Huh? Where we this notion is called what? This notion is called tamasic in nature. Are you able to follow the tamoguna aspect in every field of activity now? Now you go to the next. What is it? Depending on that, your interaction. Yeah, more the money, more the quality. Less the money, less the quality. No money, get out. Higher than that is what? The third one. The 4, 3, 2. What is the 2? There will be the teaching, and then there will be the um, the rights and the rules and everything for the teacher. All that will start. Teachers union will start. Political. My father was a state union president. Teachers Association state president he was in the union. And he got rewards as the teacher and all. That's a different story altogether. He got reward as a teacher and all. Which category belongs to? So half the time he will not be teaching. Half the time he will be working on the. Half the time he will be working on the union activities. Are you able to follow? The fourth category. What is the fourth possibility? What is the fourth possibility? Teaching. Having decided to teach, having understood my swabhava is to teach, I will teach to the best of my ability. I'll put my heart and soul into the teaching, and then after the activity is over, what happens? Move on to the next class. What happened here? I have done my best. Are you able to follow? Sattva guna now. Now, field of activity is the same. Field of activity is the same. Are you able to understand the difference? Field of activity is the same. In every field of activity, everybody will be having their tamo rajoguna proportions. By Shastric guidance, you must get over that. It's very important. You follow? Today, what is happening? Today, what is happening? Everybody does. Not only everybody does everything. There is no understanding of the swadharma at all, swabhava at all. Because today we have brainwashed ourselves to believe everybody can do. You should give them the options and let them choose, sir. Give them the options. You don't choose. Give them your duty is to give them the options. And then they should choose. You give them the options, what will they choose? You give them the options, what will they choose? Have you seen anybody choosing sattvic effort? Give them the options, what will they choose? Where will they go? Straight it will go to tamoguna only. Whether you like it or not, you may not agree, you may agree, you may not agree. Choices should not be. First thing is because you have already born in that nature, because of your guna, because you have already gotten into an activity, because you have a natural inclination to that activity, stick to that. Don't change. Teaching is a field of activity. Safeguarding, protection is another field of activity. Trade, commerce, generating wealth is another field of activity. Another field of activity is no self-initiative, so no self-motivation, have to be poked and told. These are the 4 distinct categories. Accordingly, they will choose a field of activity and grow. Grow means what? Spiritual growth means the change of guna proportion in your field of activity, which is understood as a wrong education nowadays. You can hear it for a million times. You will not get convinced about. Nobody will get convinced about it because everybody is so convinced about changing the field of activity. Everybody is convinced that the field of activity should be changed, should be changed, should be changed, can be changed. Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharmo. Even if you are a failure in your Swadharma, do it, Arjuna. Even if you are a failure in Swadharma, do it. Because successful in Paradharma is dangerous. But today, where is the conflict? You follow? That's how it is reconciled. There is no difficulty here. 4 distinct fields of activity, and every field of activity has its own spectrum again. What is the spectrum? The proportions. A soldier can be a very very rajasic or very tamasic or very sattvic. Can you have a sattvic soldier? Can you conceive of that theoretically? Can you conceive of a sattvic business person theoretically? Can you conceive of a person having taken an instruction will do it to the best of one's ability? Distinct field of activity exists if you can conceive that. You give an instruction, they will take that instruction, do it to the best of. One thing they cannot do is what? They cannot think outside of that instruction. Why in Kelve Kekmatam? Wonderful people they are. Yeah, you give them an instruction, they will think the how of it, never the why of it. Then comes the sattvic business person. Then comes the sattvic soldier. Then comes the sattvic teacher. Is it not possible, Amit? That's all. Can't you be a sattvic lift operator? Does lift operator have to be tamasic in nature and teachers alone has to be sattvic in nature? Can't you be a very highly sattvic lift operator? Yes or no? If you say yes, then you understand that you don't have to change your field of activity because he didn't change the field of activity. He was still continuing being the lift operator only. But then what changed? The field of activity didn't change. The guna proportion changed. Why you don't change the field of activity? Because having born with, the purpose of life is very clear. What? You don't want to go into another box, another janma. In this box itself, you want to finish it off everything. Because people don't have that vision, box alna remove pannittom. In those days, the purpose of putting a person into the box is very clear. What is the purpose? Never get into another box. Do finish it off in this janma. What is finishing it? Finishing it off in this janma means understand the guna proportion and aspire to become as sattvic as possible. Therefore, you find the Upanishadic literature talking about enlightened people coming from all sections of across the 4 grades. Enlightenment didn't happen only to one. But sir, in all this, sir, where is the housewife fitting in? Somebody can ask, in all this, where is the house husband fitting in? Yeah, there is a housewife, there can be a house husband also. No. Where is the, it doesn't make any difference. All it means is what? There is a field of activity. In that field of activity, you You make an effort to eliminate the tamoguna, move into the rajoguna, and then get into the sattva guna. By changing the field of activity, something of it is left behind and you are adding up another to it. This guna proportion also you are not exhausting, transcending properly. And also you are adding something, one more you have added. Now what will happen? You are extending your, what are you extending? What are you extending? Janmas you are extending. You don't take Shastric guidance to extend your janmas. Shastric guidance will be to reduce your janma. This is the basic fundamental theorem. Shastric guidance is to reduce the janma, not to add up to your janma. But we go on adding up to janmas because we choose activities based on what? We choose activities based on conveniences. I don't like it today, but it's in your nature. No. I'm not in a mood to do it. When will you be in the mood to do anything? Are you able to follow? It's okay? Don't worry. Any number of times, I don't get fatigued discussing this. Because in my thing, even if one person can be convinced, there is this thing called Swabhava Karma and your field of activity need not be changed. My ego will fly so high that I think I have become another Krishna. Because impossible to convince anybody, I tell you that. Impossible to convince, even here. I'm not blaming anybody because deep down the conviction is what? Still there is another field of activity which is better. There is another field of activity that is better for growth other than the law of growth. In the Vedanta treatise, he says it very clearly. Where you are placed is best suited for your growth. In Vedanta treatise, it says the law. Where you are placed is your swabhava. People thought where they are placed means the father, mother, house, street, country. Where you are placed means where you are placed in your swabhava, that is best suited for your growth. Are you able to follow? Where you are placed is best suited. If you can't grow in your house, which ashram will help you to grow? Can't. But then the mind always say, there is a better place, there is a better environment, there is a better field of activity that will aid my spiritual growth. Because your assumption is based on what? Everybody's assumption is based on what? Sir, if my field of carefully follow the logic now. If my field of activity is best suited for my growth, I should have grown already. The fact that I have not grown already means it is not suited. Therefore, something else is needed. Is the logic. Are you able to understand the fallacy? The logic is this. Everybody thinks like this. If your existing field of activity is best suited for your growth, what should have happened to you? You should have grown already. And then you say, no, I am not grown already. It means what? The field of activity that I am in is not best suited. Therefore, I need to change. But sir, in childhood, I didn't know all this knowledge. So, isn't it possible that I have chosen something out of this? Now I found out my Swadharma, sir. Actually, now I found out my Swadharma. Okay, have you ever observed after attending your few classes, your Swadharma will change to one? What? After attending a few classes, your Swadharma will change to one. I have seen this in all universally. It's not, at that time only I get very scared of talking and teaching only. You know what? Everybody says my Swadharma is, now I found out my Swadharma are teaching. He said, from where you got this notion? No, sir, I found out because I understood my Swadharma is this. Narayana. Yeah. Narayana, blind leading the blind. Blind leading the blind. What to do now? Your field of activity will not change. The guna proportion in that field of activity changes. But no doubt, your field of activity is determined by the guna proportion. Your existing guna proportion with which you are born. So you stick to that field of activity. That's the commitment you give. It's a commitment. In that you change your guna proportion. You follow? Anything else? Did Adi Shankara give us a sequential roadmap by first worshipping the Saguna and then Nirguna for us to spiritually evolve? Does this practice lead us from Sakama Karma and Bhakti to Nishkama Karma and Bhakti? Correct. I said this already in last week. You cannot directly start with Nishkama. First, you have to start from, I gave the sequence. What is the first one? Akarma. First is Akarma. From Akarma, you go to Sakama. And then from Sakama, you go to Nishkama. The sequence is very clear. Akarma Kritu, he says in chapter 3. Where do you find the word Akarma? Akarma தான் தமிழ்ல அக்கிரமான்றது இல்லையா? அக்கிரமம் உட்கார்ந்து அது அக்கிரமம் பண்றான்ப்பான்னு சொல்றேன் இல்லையா? அக்கிரமம்னா இல்லையா? Akarma. Yeah. Okay. Akarma in modern day linguistics, வெட்டி ஆபீசர்னு அர்த்தம் இல்லையா? That is akarma, not doing anything at all. Akarma. From akarma, you move to sakama karma. From sakama karma, you move to nishkama karma, and then what happens? You become the enlivener of karma. You are no more the karma. You become the enlivener of karma. That's out of syllabus now. Enlivener of karma is out of syllabus now. When I say out of syllabus now, at this level of our growth, I'm saying that's the ideal. Enlivener of karma. Yeah, that enlivener of karma is the highest point that are you able to follow? Next one. What is the reason he chose Ganesha, Surya, Vishnu, Shiva, Devi? Is there a reason why he worshipped Surya? Combination of these gods. The 6 gods represents the various goals, that's all. Surya represents the Shanmata. Shankaracharya said, worship 6 gods. 6 gods represent 6 basic pursuits. Whatsoever you pursue, dedicated to divine. That's what it means. If you seek wealth, first thing that you should do is what? Worship. If you are a seeker of wealth and you can't worship Shiva. If you are a seeker of wealth, what should you worship? Lakshmi only you have to worship. Because Shiva has a different role. Lakshmi has a different role. You can't say, I want wealth and go to Shiva. Shiva will say, come with me. And where he will take you? Where he will take you? You have to sit with him in the crematorium and keep dancing with him there. Yeah. Therefore, you can't. So each and every god is of a specific. Each and every god is a specific goal that you are inspired by. A materialistic thing. Remember that. Goal doesn't mean spiritual. Materialistic goals. those materialistic goals first has to be converted into divine. Achieve those materialistic goals, understanding them as divine, and then you can come to Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, etc. and all that. Are you able to follow? Therefore, those materialistic goals which we are seeking has to be converted into divine first. That's the starting point of divinity. Therefore, what happened? Everything is, in this period, in the north, especially in the desert regions, is it called? I'm talking from my memory now. Shitala Devi. Does anybody know who she is? Nobody is here from Rajasthan. No, they will not know. It's summertime. This is the time the heat is picking up. All types of infections will come. Shitala Devi means one who is supposed to take care of those diseases from harming. It means what? Even those diseases have been seen as, instead of seeing the disease as an enemy, the disease is also converted into a Devi and they worship. Does anybody know it in the first place? உடனே கூகுள் போடாதீங்க, இப்பவே அப்புறமா கூகுள் போடுங்க. Yeah, don't Google now only. I think it's Shitala Devi. I think in the north they worship. Inga kuda we worship. Illa Mariamman they say here. For one, a disease comes. So even disease is not seen inimical to life. That also is divinized. That's what he tried. It's not his original idea. It's the Vedic idea. From Vedic gods, he shifted it to Puranic gods because people have become more Puranic oriented in this time. Therefore, from Vedic gods, he shifted to Puranic gods. And Surya, he has to keep. Buddhi ki Surya out vera aale kadayadu. Even Saraswati has got nothing to do with Buddhi. Saraswati has got to do with only the data, the information. Data science is Saraswati kitta ponu. Buddhi vanumna, you have to go to Surya only. Yeah. Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodayat. And everybody needs Buddhi. And everybody has to worship Surya. Any other god you worship. Shiva and Vishnu you fight. That's okay. But Surya don't leave. So both will worship Surya. Are you able to follow? It's called Shanmata. 6 opinions, 6 ways. Not 6 religions. 6 directions, 6 paths. அவ்வளவுதானே? In the Durga Chalisa, it is stated about Adi Shankara that he worshipped Shiva and won over his Kama and Krodha. Correct. Does this mean he achieved moksha? In the next verses, he lost his power and apologized to Devi, sang her praises and regained his power. Did he regain moksha or was he in the pursuit of achieving siddhis? Adi Shankara belongs to the category, it's a pure belief. Adi Shankara belongs to the category of born enlightened. He didn't do sadhana, tapas and all to attain enlightenment. They all belong to the category of Avatara Purusha. It's a belief. Supposing if you don't like Advaita philosophy or Siddha or Shankara Siddhanta, you will say, what nonsense. He's not Avatara Purusha and all. He's a highly complicated human being, you can say. It doesn't matter. It's opinions. But considering the tradition, Adi Shankara, he will be seen as an Avatara Purusha. In that Avatara Purusha category, and when Avatara Purusha does something, it is done for Loka Sangraha. He has already conquered. See, at the age of 9 and 10, in teenage, what will you seek? What did anybody seek in teenage? Brahma Vidya? What did you seek? Even now, the same thing we are seeking. Yeah. Even now, we didn't change. After 60, 70 also, we didn't change. We're still running behind the same thing. That boy at 7, what he went and asked? Mano buddhi chitta ahankara naham, he said. Therefore, these great masters always, it's a belief, it's a shraddha. There's no empirical evidence for this. There's no empirical proof for this. It is purely a shraddha based thing. He's an avatar Purusha, and he is only saying in the process you gain something, you become egoistic, you will lose it. Again, you say, I'm sorry, you will get it back. First, you will get it. The moment you get it, you will become egoistic. The moment you become egoistic, it will be taken away from you. And then you realize your mistake, and then you will go and say, I am sorry, it will be given back to you. This is the drama of life. He's just demonstrating this drama of life. The moment you say, now I achieved, now I know, sir. Pride. What happens? Everything will be taken away. Yeah. The carpet under your feet will be pulled. Your ego is completely gone. The ego is completely gone. And then you remember, oh my God, I should not have become egoistic. I'm sorry. And then you do the right thing. Everything will be given back to you. You follow what's happening? So it is not, don't investigate as though what happened in Shankara's life. Using this, investigate what is happening in your life. Are you able to follow? That's what they want us to do. We are not inquiring into what is happening, what happened in his life. You're a newspaper reporter or what? Yeah, newspaper reporter or what? To go and probe into what's happening in everybody's life. Using that, you probe into what's happening in your life. That's the sequence. You follow, Amit? It's a beautiful way of understanding things right. Is it okay? Now, is it possible to have sattvic nature in a person with vasanas to do killing, looting, etc.? Does the field of activity has any influence in changing our gunas? Okay. Is it possible to have sattvic nature in a person, vasanas for killing, looting? Kshatriya. Kshatriya, that's their nature. Lord Krishna, that's his nature. He went to war. He ran away from war. Is he not sattvic? What is killing? What is looting? Big, big words. Big, big words. Then the next question you will ask, will a sattvic person have raping tendencies? You can go on asking. Will a sattvic person be a terrorist? The clarity on the guna is not yet there. You are still looking at the grossest expression. You still don't have clarity on the guna. What is sattva guna? Sattva guna is a detached way, an objective way of doing things. It doesn't matter what you do. Are you detached and objective in what you are? That is sattva guna. From where you got that idea that sattva guna means you will get beaten up and not retaliate? Very sattvic person said, yaar adchalum vankuvana. What is sattva guna? Are you able to follow? You don't have the clarity on the gunas because our understanding of life is very, very gross and superficial. I'm not blaming. I'm saying this is how we will grow. We need to grow out of it. But the challenge is what? We are still looking at the activity and inferring the guna. We are not able to understand that sattva guna and the expression will have the field of activity and the sattvic guna is very difficult to infer. Therefore, you are asking what? Will killing and looting sattvic person? Ashtavakra tells Janaka, go back. Janakadayaha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita itself. Gautama, the Brahmin boy, Upanishadic boy, goes and asks for Brahma Vidya from the butcher. What is he doing? Butcher means what? Butcherna keera vitundara market la. Butcherna was he selling greens in the market. He's a butcher. Yeah. Cutting, cutting, skinning, killing. How is it possible, sir? Guna, tamoguna is, again I'm defining, tamoguna is an indifference. Indifference, stubbornness is tamoguna. Don't make the gunas into an ethical dilemma. Don't make guna, tamoguna and sattva guna as dharma versus adharma ethical dilemma. You are making it in your head. Everybody is making it in your head. That's why this confusion is arising. Don't make these gunas into an ethical dilemmas. As though tamoguna is adharma and sattva guna is dharma. That is not the angle from which it is coming. Tamoguna is an indifferent stubbornness. Rajoguna is, tamoguna is indifference. Indifference to what? Indifference to the existence of others. Only I exist. I exist, my pleasure exists, my joy exists. What happens to others, I don't care. Isn't it? Rajoguna. Tamoguna. What is Rajoguna? If Tamoguna is indifference and heedlessness and stubbornness, what is Rajoguna? Passionate, desire-ridden, agitated, confused. That is Rajoguna. Now, what is Sattva-guna? What is Sattva-guna? Equanimity, objectivity. Equanimity and objectivity. With that equanimity and objectivity, that person can still decide to be a Kshatriya. That person can still decide to be a butcher. It doesn't make a person not sattvic. That's all. The problem that we are having is, in our head, we have this dilemma. What is a dilemma? Everything we convert into an ethical dilemma. Therefore, all our questions is also about ethical questions only, where you will have to necessarily give an answer. What? Adella world scared fellows will give answers. In Vedanta room, the answer is very clear. How can a sattvic person loot, sir? He will say, why not? Why not? Question mark. Why not? It means, what have you understood as sattva guna? What have you understood as tamo guna? Because you are still looking at activities and deciding everything. Because you are still looking at activities and deciding everything, by default, I am the holiest activity. Correct? Because by default, I am doing the holiest activity. In the holiest activity, kurta, we ensure that no stain comes on this kurta, struggle to eat, but still maintain the kurta, the ma. Oh, wow. What a sattvic person, huh? Does that activity make it sattvic? No, it's not the, it is not the activity. It's very, very difficult to get over this notion, wrong notion, because it has been drilled in for a long period of time. You follow? Tamoguna is an indifferent way of doing any, first of all, not doing anything, even if it is done, indifferent. Yeah. Instructions to the core must be given, like robotic. Tamasic they are in nature. That's why instructions has to be very clearly laid out to them. Yeah. Robots are tamasic in nature. That's why everything has to be clearly told. Or instruction they can't infer because they go by TV board. தூக்கி தான் போடும். ஏன்னா போடுன்னு தானே சொன்னீங்க, ஸ்விட்ச் ஆன்னு சொல்லியிருக்கணும். You will go mad dealing with the tamasic fellow. You will go mad dealing with tamasic people, literally. Because you can't say anything. எது சொன்னாலும் they will have a knack of misunderstanding. அதுதான் tamasic intellect-னே பேர் வச்சாங்க. Yeah. Rajasic. Yeah. Something they, oh, what they meant is this. Get me coffee. Tumbler-லயா mug-லயா, sir? I don't want coffee only, isn't it? Get the. It has it is tamo. It is tamo because no application. Are you able to follow what I'm saying? They can act according to the instructions, but cannot apply anything at all. Other indifference to the core. At least in your field of activity, apply rightly. What is the field of activity? You are the car driver. First thing that you have to do is what? If you want to drive the car, first thing that you have to do is to clean the car. Sir, driver clean varla sir. I will drive the dirty car. What is it called? Thamoguna it is. No sir, this is not my job. Rajoguna. What is Rajoguna? Agitated way of doing. What is Sattva Guna? Sattva Guna is the most aesthetic way of doing an action. Elsewhere in the 12th chapter, one of the qualities of the Bhakta, he is going to call it as Daksha. An aesthetic way of doing everything. Whatsoever they do, it will be an aesthetic way. Yeah, பூ வைக்கும்போது கூட சுவாமி கிட்ட அழகா வைக்கணும் இல்லையா, குப்பை மாதிரி போடக்கூடாது, isn't it? Yeah, that's why even when I offer, I don't know, there you have tick போடக்கூடாது, இல்லையா, அழகா வைக்கணும். God, no, isn't it? You place it so beautifully, do it. First time in Mysore Amit, I was doing it like that. The priest told me, no, it will take more time if you do it like that, he's telling me. Yeah, I am saying, no, I will keep for each and every name, I will keep it like that. Therefore, when you see it, God is there, place it. So what is Sattva Guna now? Has anybody seen me, the puja in my house when I do? So I will place it one by one. So it will be like, they will think and they'll get very restless. And I have seen everybody getting up and going in 5th minute. Only I'll be sitting all by myself. Sattva Guna it is. Why? Whatsoever you do it. Whatsoever you do it aesthetically. That is Sattva Guna. So it doesn't really matter. When you kill aesthetically. Naivam papam avapsyasi. Though killing, you will not incur sin, Arjuna. You have not read, we don't hear Bhagavad Gita at all. He said it. Naivam papam avapsyasi. Naivam papam avapsyasi means, though killing, you will not incur sin. Yeah, that brings that dairi. You follow? Therefore, the guna is very clearly understood like this. Chariya? Is it okay? Anything else? Okay. We'll continue.